Okay, so in this video we're talking about factoring using the bottoms up method again. So this is part 2, but this time our leading coefficient is not a 1. So it's going to be a little bit more tricky, but not too bad. So again, bottoms up, what we do is we take our leading coefficient, this time it's an 8, and we multiply it by our constant term. This time it's a -3. So 8 times -3 is -24. So I can write this as x squared plus 2x minus 24. Okay? Now what we want to do is look for factors of -24 that'll add up to +2. Okay, so I know 6 times 4 does multiply to +24, so I need to use some either positive or negative combination of 6 and 4 to make this work. So I'm going to try +6 times -4. When I multiply those two together, I do get -24. And then when I add those together, 6 plus -4 is +2. So our double check works. So that means this can be factored into x plus 6 times x minus 4. But before we stop, we need to remember, bottoms up. What we did was multiply by 8. So I need to go back and divide it by 8. And what I want to do now is try to reduce each of my fractions as low as I can go. So, for instance, might just use my calculator to save some time and help me out, make sure I don't make any silly mistakes. But 6 divided by 8 is 0.75, which we all know is 3/4. So I can write this as x plus 3 over 4. Okay, now, -4 over 8, that's -1/2. Now, I have some fractions here. Well, bottoms up, you don't keep the fractions. The bottom number comes up in front of our variable. So I end up with 4x plus 3, and then 2x minus 1. Like we've done in the previous video, we can now multiply these two polynomial expressions together by using either the box or FOIL, your choice, to verify that we ended up with our exact same problem, 8x squared plus 2x minus 3. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to use the box. That's my personal favorite. You use what works for you. So, using the box, I've got 4x plus 3, 2x minus 1. Go through and multiply. 2x times 4x is 8x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. 4x times -1 is -4x, and then -1 times 3 is -3. Go ahead and combine like terms wherever you can. So you end up with 8x squared plus 2x minus 3, which is the exact same polynomial that we started off at the beginning. So we do have the correct factor form here. That wasn't too hard. I would suggest watching this video a few more times if you need help with this. What we're going to do now is to go on to a more complicated example. So if you still need to watch this and rewind, that's fine. Hit pause. We'll be back when you hit play again. Alright, so in example 4 here, what we're doing is factoring this polynomial. It looks similar to what we just did, but instead of x, I now have x plus 1. So 4x plus 1 quantity squared plus 4x plus 1 minus 3. Okay, well, if you remember bottoms up part 1, we had a problem like this, and the key to that problem was to use the substitution method. So instead of x plus 1, I'm going to substitute in a different variable. Doesn't matter what the variable was. Last time I used a y, this time I'm going to use a z. No big deal. So everywhere I see an x plus 1, I'm going to put in a z. So everywhere I see an x plus 1, I'm going to put in a z. So rewrite my problem now. So 4z squared plus 4z minus 3. Alright, now we're ready to start doing bottoms up part 2. Remember, for bottoms up, you always take your leading coefficient and multiply it by your constant. So 4 times -3 is -12. So you can rewrite this as z squared plus 4z minus 12. Now we're ready to start factoring this. So what we're looking for are factors of -12 that add up to +4. So factors of -12. Let's try 6 and -2. So 6 times -2 is -12, so that works. And then we need to add to get up to +4, so 6 plus -2 is +4, so that works. So our double check works, so we can start writing this. Again, we're still talking about z, so z plus 6 times z minus 2. Well, remember when we did bottoms up, we first multiplied by 4. To undo multiplication, we need to now divide by 4. Next step is to clean up and reduce each fraction as much as we can. So I have z plus 3/2. Again, if you need help cleaning up these fractions, use your calculator. Don't let your ego get in the way. So z plus 3/2. And then z negative 2 over 4 is negative 1/2. And remember, bottoms up means whatever number is in our denominator here comes up in front of our variable. Okay, so I can rewrite this as 2z plus 3, 2z minus 1. Okay, well that's great. You could actually go through here and verify by using 4 in a box that you ended up with this polynomial right here. That would be great. But we need to do one more step. Remember, we said at the very beginning of the problem, z is equal to x plus 1. So everywhere I see a z, I need to go back and put in that x plus 1. Okay, so for our first problem, we got 2 times x plus 1 plus 3 times 2 times x plus 1 minus 1. And I'm going to go through and clean that up as much as I can. We have distributive property. So I end up with 2x plus 2 and then plus 3 just falls down. Distributive property in the second set. I have 2x plus 2 minus 1 just falls down. Clean it up as much as I can by combining like terms. So I end up with 2x plus 5, and then I end up with 2x plus 1. This is our final answer. Again, you can verify by using 4 in a box that this will produce, when you multiply together, our original problem of all of this. And that's it for bottoms up. Thank you very much.